Okay, what I want to do now is that I want to kind of close the gaps between these pieces, and the tools that I'm going to use, I'm going to use the healing brush tool. I'm going to probably use the stamp tool, and then I'm also going to be using masks in this particular process. What I got here is I got a set of slats from the Google search, and I've got this seam right here just masked off right there, just so that these two kind of already start to blend. If I really want to be even more particular about it, I can probably slide him up and just kind of put that right there, or even just get rid of that whole jacked piece altogether. And so this is kind of what we're going to do now, is that we're going to kind of close up the gaps between these woods so that it's a little cleaner. You can clearly see the pattern, but since it's going, or the tiling, but since it's going into a game engine and it's the interior and the exterior of the actual minecart, should be okay. Let's see what we got first. Go back to 3ds Max. All right, so we get some good tones here. I want to close that gap up a little more. I want to close that gap up and close that gap up. If I'm going to be meticulous, I can go find them, but right now what I'm going to do is just basically do the same gap for most of them and play around with that. Probably want to consider where this holes are and kind of attack those when we get to it. Want to see if I can get these seams to actually match right on the floor plate so we don't have any crossover right there. Because basically what it looks like is these slats are sliding into these metal bars and this metal flooring and holding in place there, which means that we'll probably want some rusty metal for this piece and for this and this, which means we want to add some scuffs there. Alright, tangents aside, let's take a look at what we've got going on back in the Photoshop file. We'll look at our placement of the spaces and stuff. So like I was talking about with the gaps of the wood, let's go ahead and get this one, lock that back up. Alright, so this right here is the top of the actual minecart. That's the top of the exterior part. This is the top, this is the bottom. So we've got some things flipping back and forth, which, to be honest, is kind of a challenge, but that's okay because it gets the maximum amount of space in the actual UVs. So with the hopes that this and this are the same and this are the same, that means this edge is probably over here and this edge is probably over here or something like that. That's really easy to check in the 3D software. It's a little harder to check in Photoshop, but we'll be all right. We'll move forward anyway, and we'll just make it happen. If we plan it right, we'll be able to fix it pretty quickly. And that will be how we do this in a little bit. Let's start off with just getting these pieces masked off properly and looking a little bit more aligned and more proper. Real quick, let me check something. No, I can't pause it. So we'll go forward. So all right, let's go here and take a look at what we want to do. First things I want to do is close the gaps up across the majority of these boards so they're consistent. I like this little thin gap here or this one right here. I want to get rid of these floor pieces, but let's use this piece right here. It's in this layer. Yep, happy. Use the marquee tool. I'm going to select enough little spots. That whole concept of the bleed is in my mind here. I have a little bit where I can work with delete and erase and all that stuff. I see the tones that I'm grabbing from, so if I just keep that in mind, I can always grab these tones later. So go in here and we'll hit Control C, Control V, and now we've got our separate layer. I can hold Alt and click on the eyeball and isolate it. So now I can cover up some of these more unsightly or a little ridiculously large areas. Maybe I can even bring some open. These cracks would be wonderful to bring in a different area. The same technique I'm doing here is the same technique you do there. So let's talk about getting this. Let's go ahead and close this one right off the bat. There's enough hue change here that could drive us crazy, so let's keep that in mind. I'm going to, again, like I said, I got a reference folder here. That's my junk pile. I'm going to call this slat hole. That's a funny name. I'm going to make a copy and throw it in here. All right, got slat hole there, and I got a reference in here, so I can destroy this one and not feel concerned about it, and that's what's going to happen here. So first off, we want to blend as much as we can to it, and we also kind of want to match the angles. I'm going to zoom back out again. Sorry about that. If I do this and kind of look at this, let's rotate this way because they're both, the tones are pretty close. I want to make sure that I kind of get a straight line through most of it. You can see how kind of mismatch it is and how it's changing throughout the tones here. So there's ways that we can match it and move forward, but I just want to get an idea of the size I'm working with Looks like I can use one on, one will cover half of this, and that's fine. Again, I'm just worried about the space between the two logs. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. A mask right off the bat. So I'm going to probably mask away some of the wood first, and then apply the mask, and then I'll probably go ahead and start doing the blends. I got this set up as a black, so I'll paint it to off, which is what I want. Let's go ahead and make a funky brush with some variations in it. That's two spars. Let's do that one. Go here, and that's big, and use the brackets to slow that down. Alright, so what I want to do is kind of just get close to the edge. You can see where it's working a little bit and where it's failing in other areas, which is fine. It's Photoshop. We're just manipulating pixels. Alright, so the brush, you see how it's angled horizontal? Let's go in here and change that. Let's see if we can not just change the jitter. Where's the change? Where's the round? No, not there. Where's it? Is there a roundness here? No, I'm thinking of substance. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I can find another brush and work with it. But I can go ahead and just get this out of the way. Without a whole lot of effort, I'm getting pretty close to what I want to get done on this. So let's go ahead and apply that layer. Right click, apply layer mask. Now it's just pixels. And if I want to kind of get in here nitty gritty and get to where it's starting to get real pixelated in terms of the zoom, let's do a stamp. I'm going to kind of just sample right above it. Just kind of drag it right there. That's helping a lot. Let's see what the comparison of the heel brush tool will do. Let's go ahead and pull straight above and just kind of blend that in there. And it really is just a matter of preference. Sometimes the heel brush gets what you want, sometimes it doesn't. I'm enjoying the effect and the result that I'm getting here, so we're going to keep going with it. Alright. Sweetness. Cool. Alright, so I take that. I can move this along and slide it down here. Like I said, like I did last time, I'll just kind of spin it around. Now, it may not be useful, and that's fine. I've got another copy down below. Control T. Let's flip it horizontally so we get those big chunks. Oh, that's horizontal. I meant vertically. Well, it's already flipped, so just rotate it back. Bam. There we go. That works. And now I can work on this. I got enough pixel data on that layer that I can work with it. So that's what I'll do real quick. I'm using the spot heel brush because there's a huge tone change. And don't be shy about sampling off of other areas. Like there's some cool things in here, some variations to help kind of change up the tiling that could happen real easily with these clones and stamping tools. All right, so there, we're starting. I'm not unhappy with this. I've already got one slat pretty much set to go. The easy way to do this would be kind of capture more pixels off of this and move forward and kind of build up as I go. But that's the general concept of how I can blend things together. Let's go ahead and put this in here. Hit Control Save just to see it. We're looking for this. What I want to do here, just to test out where this sits, let's go ahead and just see what happens here. Let's go ahead and use my wonderful green color, my favorite green of the semester. And we'll just go ahead and draw an arrow of where the work is. So I'm in the layer that I want to paint in, and we'll say, hey, look there, look there, and there. And let's see where this goes. Save. Boop. Sweet. Sweet. Okay. So you guys got now there's a definition of what's happening here. You guys can see what's happening with these arrows. Right? So basically, as I suspected, this edge is lined up with this edge, and this edge is lined up with this edge. So if I just do this, and I do this, hit Control Save, give it a chance to load, and there it is. Yeah, exactly as I expected. Sweet. Now we know. I know where two edges are in my shop. You guys, look up here real quick. I'm gonna show you this. You always see. I'm gonna go ahead and say.